Okay, I'm going to start the last session in the sense of the discussions and papers and presentations. Tomorrow's more of a workshop. But I'm going to do a few slides on marketing. I'm going to take this, put it in my hand. There you go. Marketing and the CNPS. And obviously, probably a lot more than most people in our group, I've thought a lot about this and have implemented a lot of ideas, which I think are actually starting to work, some of them. But I'm calling this the third phase. Again, some of you know all this, but I'm going to do this just in case people haven't heard this. Basically, I've looked at this group, and I consider the MPA, CNPS as synonymous, since 97% of the members of the CNPS made up of the MPA. But the three phases I look at are finding each other was the real first phase, first 10 years. It's when the internet's really started to happen. The MPA started more or less when the internet became popular. I saw the internet back in 1992 because I was in the research lab, and we had Netscape and actually Mosaic. And it was a curiosity back then. I remember when Yahoo was just a list of pages of websites. And I also remember this other website that was selling books over the internet. They were from their garage, and it was called Amazon. They're doing pretty well today. So it was about the same time that happened. So at that time, they were finding each other more by just word of mouth. Bulletin boards also. And then the second phase, really, the second decade, was there was cooperation starting to happen. You really started to see some cooperation where people were writing papers together. And that's happened in the last 10 years. We have the structures group, we have the gravity group, we have people using the same terminology. A lot of things that are more common now. Types of marketing that I see that we're using are, of course, our papers. As a marketing, I'm not sure that's going to win awards, but it is out there. And people who are interested in writing papers, and the technical people in this room, that's a lot of ways ways they find us. The proceedings themselves, seeing that there are proceedings, that gives a little bit of credence. And we do have them available for purchase, and we sell as up to 9 or 10 a year. But it is out there, and they are there for purchase. The conferences, of course, they do bring in, like this conference, we put a sign out there, and we've had students come by, a few. It is a grassroots kind of thing. We started the Meetups. We're the first group here in Boca Raton to do a meetup. Meetup is a website that's very successful in taking totally random people who are interested in other people who have the same interests. We have 42 people in our meetup group, and how many actually come are much smaller. Tomorrow we'll have probably 4 or 5 of them. We have the awards we've set up, not only the John Chappelle or the Sanyak Awards, but now we have the Sci-Flix, and that seems to, we got some publicity, and it takes time, but we did. The article about my diet had a link to our website, and it continued, the website, yeah, and Facebook, so that's growing, that's a way. We're setting things up, really, that's going to be happening. We have our website, we have our websites, which are the 3 websites. We have a podcast, which are the DissidentScience.com, which I started. We have movies out there, edutainment, videos like Neil Adams' edutainment, I call it, videos like on the expanding Earth, expansion. YouTube channel, we do have a YouTube channel, the one from the MPA. Has quite a number of them have a number of hits. We have as many as 4,000 views on some of those YouTube channel videos, and everything that's being recorded will go on to our John Chappelle YouTube video channel. And we have our Facebook page, which, because I sent out a mass email, which we have well over 1,000 people on that, people started, oh, we have a web page. And literally during these talks, people have been seeing photos. Dad, you want to bring somebody want to grab this? We need to show photos here. So there we go. And we've been posting live photos to the website, to our Facebook page. So yeah, take a photo of me pretending to be important up here. But those things do matter. People do pay attention. Just in that act alone, we went from 17 people knowing we even had a Facebook page to about 37. And those things do grow. As much as I know it takes time, but those things are important. They're out there. And when I put the photos on it, people go, oh, I didn't go to the conference, I want to see it. All of a sudden we get, in 1 week, 20 people liking the site, paying attention to us. It's slow, but it does work. I've seen it go from this to hundreds to thousands. So that's very important. One of the things we're looking to do is to have people, ourselves, take a little bit of time and do some marketing. It's really hard. Most of us don't want to do that. We want to work on our work. We don't want to spend time. Set an hour a week. If you are retired, okay, what can I do? Blog about an idea. We have people doing that. I do it. I wish I didn't have to do it as much, but I'm doing it. I have the ability to maybe see an article and write something about it. We have, like I said, over 1,000 people on our email list. So when you write something in your blog, if you're a paying member of the CNPS, you get a blog automatically, and you can write something that interests you. Write something that would interest somebody else. It can be at any level. And that then gets sent out to 1,000 people. I do that once a week. I've got Harry wrote one, Thomas wrote one, I wrote one. Those things will go out in the next email. So you write about yourself, write about your theory, tell everybody it is the best on earth. You've got a lot of people there, but no one does it. They come around and then they come to me, no, listening to my, well, do something about it. You can't sit in the garage with the garage door closed and have anybody paying attention to you. We have interviews we need to do we can do with the Dissident Science podcast. I've done that myself, getting suggestions. It's a really good way of doing some things. Blog ideas. I've got 1,000 of them. If I could do this full time, and we talked about this idea, what if we could get Dave Hilster full time working on marketing, just working on this stuff? Man, I'd write articles about CPM, our scientists, the theories they have, the science news of the day, the general philosophy, personal things about what's going on in people's lives. These are the things that, if they're blogged about and they're indexed by Google, people will start reading them. When they search for Google, we're on the index there, and more people will see these things. So the blogs are a really good way of getting the ideas out. I started the Dissident Science podcast. We're listed on iTunes, folks. You know, you go there, it's got a beautiful, logo. You can listen to it. We got some really great stuff we're talking about there. I got Nicholas talking about his work he had with the German, Germany, who must answer things about relativity that are required by law, and his struggles with that. I mean, these are interesting things. And so they're out there. It's just that, it helps. The more of us that listen to it, the more of it. Get your Facebook page. I know it sounds stupid, but people expect to have that. If you have a theory and you're writing stuff, if you don't have a reputation to worry about, which most of us don't, or we've already gotten in trouble already, get out there, get yourself a Facebook page. I got to get my dad. He's doing great work. He doesn't have a Facebook page. His white paper should be out there for everybody following him, then they should be able to read that. We also have the community website that does that.
In Europe, we don't use e-platform. Could it be changed something?
What do you mean by that? I don't understand.
iTunes platform, iPod platform, we really not much use.
Oh, iPhone. Yeah, but you don't have to be iPhone. iTunes, you can get at any blog. Blogs are done computer-wise by having a system on the website that I created for DissidentScience.com. A friend of mine at work has an Android phone. He uses a program, and he went to the website, you click on this and you subscribe to it, and then you get updates anytime we have a new Dissident podcast, and you can listen to it. It's quite interesting. And if you want to talk about your stuff, contact me. How do we do it? We do it over Skype, so it sounds like we're in the same room. So we can do it from long distance across the way or across the world. So those are things. I have a TED Talks where I'm trying to do more like as if they were TED Talks. I'm waiting to get in trouble with TED. Then that's good. I want them to come to me and say, you can't use that logo. That's trademark. I want to get to that point. I want to have to take it down. They're not going to sue me because they have nothing to get from me. But it's very interesting. I did one TED Talk. And what it forces me to do is if I could get the audience in TED to sit and listen to me, these minds, what would I say and how would I say it? How would I say it super interesting and not them knowing? I did the first one on expansion tectonics, and I did it in a clever way. And so listen to it. So it's marketing, it's getting out there. I want to do more TED Talks. Sci-Flix, the Science Film Festival. Tonight we're going to be having our banquet tonight, and we'll be recognizing the films. Egads, I forgot that I got to go home, I guess, and get the film awards. We have awards. We review all films, dissident, mainstream, and conspiracy. Who are the people that review a film like mine instead of saying, well, Einstein can't be wrong, so we reject this at Cannes. Instead of saying, wait a minute, Einstein's wrong, this is big news. It could be an Oscar-nominated film. When people see it, the average person sees it, they like it, it's very entertaining, but we needed, it doesn't exist, so we made it. And we do reviews on things. We'll take mainstream film, and we'll tear it apart. We'll say, particle physics, particle fever, about the Higgs particle. Well made. We gave it a 10 in entertainment. We gave it a 10 in, what was it? 10, I have it on the website. We gave it a 210, we gave it 3 10s. One was on worshiping, which means they're worshiping what's going on. We give them ratings that says in the science part, we can say it's extremely entertaining, but it's all unicorns. We can say that. When you have a review, Nick said he loved that film, and I said the purpose of the Sci-Flix is not only to give awards, we don't give awards to everything, but to do reviews and say, this is very entertaining, but they didn't ever explore the idea this is all unicorns, that this is not based on good science. So that's what the idea of that science film festival is. And conspiracies, we do the same thing. This is a film that is entertaining, but it's science, it's based on speculation. And we have entertainment, speculation, worship, science, and entertainment. We got 5 of them. So we rate films that way. So you know as a person watching films, oh, I'm going to watch this film, but it's all speculative science. And somebody is saying it. We can put our opinion there. And it's just being an alternate voice. You know, and I think there's a lot of people, this 95% of the world of engineers who know that. Well, I don't want to watch that film. It's going to be a really touching story, I'm sure. This is an engineer talking. It's going to be a real touching story, but there are Higgs, all this stuff. This stuff is a bunch of baloney, and I'm not interested in it. That's what I think is really happening. So there we got it. Look, nice logos, official leaf. We had 9 films all. submitted to us over the electronic way they do it, is without a box. It's the place, IDMB, the international, it's the database for films. They have something and you pay a percentage of all the stuff come in. We got $400 come in, 9 films submitted. And that, we judge them. We have 2 of them getting awards. We can't screen them, we tell them, but they can go onto their website and say, I got this award. When I hand out my DVD, I can say, it was the grand prize winner of the film festival that I created myself. It gives it a real credibility when you make your own film festival and give yourself the biggest prize. That is true credibility. You know, I'm sure no one will question the validity of that. But in reality, when I talk with Nicholas Percival, you know, Duncan, I talked with him, and we went over this. He is very gung-ho. He said, this is a good endeavor. It's not important that we have 1,000 films. We did it. We have our little red carpet out there. This is, you know, we may look back 10 years from now and say, my goodness, Dave started all these 3 things in 1 year. Now look at him. I mean, or because Dave started all these 3 years. Now he's not here anymore. We kicked him out of there. None of this stuff worked. Well, one or the other. So, and I think this has a real potential. Hackathons are a big thing these days. I don't know if you heard about them, but even here in Florida, I'm part of the programmers groups here. They have hackathons all the time. We're going to go down and we're going to make apps. We're going to take the weekend and we're going to think of apps and we're going to program them over the weekend. We're going to hack life. There's life hackers. There's all kinds of things. It's an in thing. My dad provided some inspiration based on very simple rules of mathematics. You've heard it all. And I think that's something I put Hackathon on our Meetup group. No one was coming. I put Hackathon all of a sudden everybody's, I mean, in comparison to what it was, it's really interesting. One guy even said, I'm not going to be there in the afternoon. Are you going to videotape it? I'm not sure he even knows what it is. But the interest is there, and the actual potential is that we have the ability to model the entire universe with moving mass. We believe that. And it's so simple that even if what can come out of it, we can get something that is actually could predict something that we don't know, even if it's not right. Exactly, that's the way it really works. But the scary thing is, we really believe that the universe can only have, there is no such a thing as a field. The field's made up of something. And that the whole universe has to be made of something. And let's stop talking about it. Let's answer the question Duncan's asking. What is the structure of an atom? That's going to be tomorrow. We're going to be working on hacking the atom. And we have light and gravity solved, at least in our hackathon world. Let's go on to the next step. It's a huge problem, it is. But who knows what people come up with. We may have some people come into our group that are like, and come up with ideas of how mass and motion will do this, and you never know. So I think it could be a great marketing tool, so we don't know. We're going to give it a try. We've already had very positive feedback with just the word. So, the universe hack assumption is easy for everybody to understand. It's mechanical in nature. There are simple building blocks. It can result in new predictions and control, which is what I say. Right now, we have, my dad did light and gravity. It describes fields. We think that's electricity as well. Reflection, redshift, lasers, color, atomic structure, subatomic structure. That's where we're really going to be going at it. And then, of course, we have our, you got to have a logo, you got to have a gimmick, you got to have something that looks cool. Well, we got it, so, but I think we actually have substance. So I think that's it. But that's sort of my David D. Hilster before we start and talk about what we can do, what we have, so we don't maybe rehash, like we should do this while we're doing that, or we should have subgroups where we're doing that already. So that's pretty much what we're doing, so let's get on with the discussion. No applause needed. Let's get on with that. You want to get over here and we can go back to what you guys were wanting to talk about here, which is What can we do?
Go forward.
Are you moving over?
Yeah, I'm moving over. Yep.
Was there any chance of getting any kind of local news coverage for this conference?
I have tried that in numbers of years. I mean, there's nothing better to say we're hacking the universe. I sent out a press release saying, science conference to hack the universe. You got to have people in publicity and get that out. I didn't have enough time. By the time my dad hacked the universe, it was too late. I said, we needed you to come up here with your inspiration 4 months ahead of time. What do you expect the marketing people to do this in a week? So it was really more of that. But what's more important is that if I got a reaction, I mean, look how stupid this is. We have a meetup group, which the last 2 times we had 3 or 4 people. That's it. But again, if you going back, John Chappelle, 1992, this group he was in this huge argument. You would have thought he was on stage with 100,000 people. He had, what, 2 people in the room, 3 maybe. Go onto our channel on YouTube, see it. So it's not that. And then I put the word hackathon, talk about this. Next thing I know, people are signing up right away. I go, whoa, what changed there? The idea of hackathon and hacking the universe. This is cool. And these people are zero physicists. They're just people who are Meetup. Meetup are the place where I feel you can just go and grab people who say, I'm interested in this subject. Hey man, that's cool, the interest, everybody thinks about the universe. So there is indications that this could really work. I was talking to Musa. I'm saying, Musa, you are on another continent. There are brilliant people and thinkers. You have students there, right? And he teaches students that are going to the university. Start a local group there. Our meetup group is producing something that's very needed in marketing. And what is that? You go to our community.naturalphilosophy.org, and right at the top, you can get slides from Google. There you can go, and it says, here's Dave D. Hilster's overview of Dissident Science and Dissident Science. We didn't have that. I wrote it. I wrote all kinds of things about you guys. No one's argued to me about it, so I know no one's used it. But if Musa wants to get and says, look, we're going to be introducing you to this new way of thinking and these new scientists, where do you go? Oh, pick up your book at the library about this? There isn't anything. That's a lack of marketing of our own self. You know what it's like? We don't have resume. We don't have a resume. We don't have a resume to hand to people. We can't say, oh, what's you about? Go to the search bar and type in ether, and you'll get a bunch of papers with abstracts that you'll not understand anything what they're saying. But if you knew what it was about and you talked to the guy at the conference, you'd be all intrigued. So, you know, what we need to do is we need to start doing it. My hope is I'm sitting there doing this every week going, I'm dumb, why am I doing this? Why are we doing meetups? And we have a meetup, my mom goes, no one's showing up. And it's like, you know, you wonder, is this worth it? But if we can actually do it, it's frustrating. You have to understand, it could be one person for 4 weeks. But it grows very slowly, but the next thing you know, you get more and more people. I talk at work. At work, people won't sit at my table now at work because they know me and my friend will only talk physics, and they try to talk everything else. It says, we have no time. You know, my dad's model, I'm thinking we can really model, I don't think we need ether too. Everybody else is talking about all their stuff that you talk at lunch, right? But it's that grassroots level where people, they're interested. So Musa, if you can do that, we will provide, and what you say to me, David, I want this, give me a slideshow or give me something, I will gladly help out.
I'll do so.
Yeah, and I think what will happen is you'll find like this guy in Brazil, one person, oh, I'm interested, one, I don't care, and the other person, you're nuts. But you get those people that accumulates. So that's one of the ways we can do it. Blogs. We should be writing a blog about everybody in here. Your work, your experience, what you tell me, what you told me about, and what you said in your talk. Sit down, take time. You know what's great about the blogs? And that's what Harry and I do. You go to your blog, you're a paying member, you go to your blog, You got an idea, you type out a title. That's what I'm going to do today, that's all I did. Type out titles of things that I'm going to write stuff about, because they are not published. And it stays there. You can go to anybody's computer anywhere. I can do it on my phone. You can then type in a title. I want to say this. I want to talk. The only one I don't want to do is waves. Forget waves. Nothing waves. I'm going to reject and do anything of waves.
Stop messing with tides.
That's going to be the talk of this whole thing. But you know, put that out there. Obviously, maybe what we should do is only talk about waves for a couple of weeks. But what I'm saying is, take the time. You hear about it. If you take the time and write it, I'm getting people's comments back. People are reading it. I will tell you, I can tell you right now, I use MailChimp. I put everything in there and I've got it now, I've got a whole system now. It takes me only a few minutes to send these out every time. I can tell you how many people clicked on your article and read it. I know whose articles are being read. I know when we do things, I know I can even look at the articles people are writing on our website and predict how many people are going to read it. And sure enough, it happens. I can see what people like to read about. This group likes, if you say anything about relativity, they're clicking on it. You know, the thing is they read it. They do read it. And they get, you start to find out, you know, when you grow and grow and grow, I had that article about my diet. It was shared 1,200 times on people's Facebooks. It was liked 7,000 times. That means at least that many people read it, probably. So these things will get out there, and the more we create, but we need you guys to do it. Or we need to do, as you were talking about, crowdfunding or something like that. Make David D. Hilster an employee of everybody here. Everybody pays $100 a month on the crowdfunding, and I'll just dedicate myself and get that out there. I'm not saying that's what, I'm not here to do that because my wife would probably divorce me. But I'm saying is that we have the tools in place and they're starting to work. A few people, I had a professional writer wanting to do it. He's not writing stuff. But who is going to write it who's capable? It's not easy. Not everybody can. I know people who do brilliant work. They can't write this stuff. Like you were saying, you want to get somebody who's going to have that ability to communicate. When I'm a technical person at very high level at computer science, for instance, but I have the ability, we're at a client, I have my best friend, he is a whiz. He is the program, he can program probably the best, one of the best on the planet. But if we have a client there and he's asking about how our technology works, my friend starts talking, it's like talking the differential equations in tensors, and the clients are like deer in headlights, and then I can somehow, I have the ability to pull back and talk about the big picture and explain. I have that talent. Not everybody has it, but if you write about something you like and think about talking about it, anything you have, try it. Next thing we'll know, we'll have problems. We're going to have to send out an email every day because we have so many people. Great. What does that mean? This is being indexed by Google. People, every time they do dark matter, every time I see something with dark matter, I'm going to try to write an article. Why does that work? I'll tell you technically why that works on the internet. If I have 20 articles about dark matter in our blogs, and Google will go through WordPress, which we use, and all of them, and people talking more and more, they're going to see some of our articles. And somebody's going to hit, yeah, you know, these guys are right. I put them on Facebook now. I put them on other people's stuff, and now they're sharing them. And so we've got fans of our group, because of Facebook, who haven't come to our meetings yet, who are liking what we're doing. We have an expansion, guy's sharing it. And those are the kinds of things that we can do, at least right now. And so that's what I would want to say as an introduction. What can we do now? We have that ability to do that. But people don't know us. If you can start, like, this is how Obama won the campaign. He didn't win it by $1 billion. He won it on the average of what? $35 donations. Because people talked about it amongst themselves, that kind of stuff. It works with a person. My dad was outside with a guy from Michigan. And that's okay, he's still forgiven if he's from Michigan. But you talk with them, you try to get them interested. Will they be? We don't. What's his name?
Dick.
In the back there.
Dick.
Dick, yeah. You got the guy from the store over there. You try. He may walk home, never see us again.
Well, he's a retired engineer.
Yeah.
And he and I had a few chats, and he was really interested in the paper. And I said, well, we got a group over here. And he said, you know, I brought him over to see it, got him a copy of this, and he's happy as a clam. And I told him if he's interested, come on back, because you're local and he's local. And
yeah. So those are the kinds of things you can do. And I know it's tough. It takes some time. But the meetup group is something that we can replicate. It's something you can do. And I think in the future, what I'd like to see the MPA do is actually with a budget, be saying, we'll pay your dues, because you have to pay something. You have to pay like $50 every 6 months or something. But we could say, look, we're gonna not only, we'll pay it for you, you don't have to pay that, we'll make material for you. I got that already. You've got some slides already, at least 3 or 4 that you could introduce them. And then after that, produce your own. And then this can be multiplied around the world. You're in your area, where can you, those things work. We know that works. So, yeah, now it's like Dave's making me start a meetup. No, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Okay.
We have members who were once real physicists, real professors, etc., like that, who have now seen the light, or whatever you want to say. Did any of them still have connections with their universities or their colleagues where they or somebody from our group who was good, like at debating or something, get into a debate with some of the mainstream people, and maybe like have a seminar like at one of the college campuses and say, we're going to debate dark matter or something, or we're going to debate the twin paradox. I mean, it takes a special person who can go out in front of people like that and hold their own. Yeah, it's kind of like when you have creationists versus
right.
But there are people who have that skill, and it does not necessarily the professors, the former professors, but they may have the contacts. If we have people in the organization who are comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, absolutely. We thought of that, and we've looked into that. In fact, I looked into it. It's a process that takes some time. A couple things. Number one, John Chappell did that.
Mm-hmm.
He amazingly got physicists to argue and to talk and to discuss, to show up and discuss. That's the big problem. That's tough. You can try to find them. The problem is really, really weird, is the art of debate has disappeared, and I think it's disappeared almost on purpose. I found only like one organization, and I got an email contact, because here's what happens. We'll put a debate up. Who's going to judge what went on? Who's going to, for instance, if you have a debate and your argument is, in a debate, here's my argument. Well, you're not a physicist. Okay? That has a little bit of merit, but in an argument where you say, we're arguing what points are. There used to be debate clubs in high school.
Yeah.
They don't exist in the United States anymore. Find one. Find one. You can't find one. What a horrific thought. We're not teaching critical thinking at all. And so what happened is I actually contacted one lady who's in Florida, and I said, look, I'm looking to do some debates, but I need a person to raise red flags when over there Mr. Mainstream says, well, the reason we know this is right is all the universities teach this. How could that be wrong? You can't, in a debate, a bad argument is everyone's doing it. That's not an argument in a debate. But we have to have somebody who's a specialist who says that. If we have one of our people saying that, they're going to say, no good. So the first thing is you have, in my opinion, to do this right, you need that moderator. You need someone to say, no, Mr. Mainstream, that is not an argument. Just like at the end of the 60 Minutes, the guy makes an argument. If he was in a debate club, he would lose. But he did it in front of 60 Minutes on TV, and his argument was, once they said cold fusion doesn't work. Why? Can't measure. Okay, here's the guy who doesn't believe in cold fusion. He'll show that these guys don't know how to measure, and he'll prove our point. They send him over, he comes back, the guy says, there's something there. I'm flip-flopping. They go back to the big kahuna and says, okay, we sent your guy, he went to the guy, we sent him to the cold fusion, and now he's back, and he's saying, there is something there. So your argument that they're not measuring something has been just debunked by the person that you indicated to us. You know what his answer was? His answer should be, well, please give me the data, let's look at it. His answer was, I don't believe it. This is on 60, go see it. Cold fusion is hot again, 2009 April. Look it up, watch the end of it. Because I don't believe it. My friend doesn't believe it. That's at least 2 people don't believe it. So yes, there are people that don't believe cold fusion is real. If that wasn't a debate, if you were in a debate club in high school, what do you think you'd get as a grade for that? You'd get an F. Now, this is what we're hearing on 60 Minutes. This is the mainstream on 60 Minutes. What can you do? Even if you get a debate, that's what they're saying. So you would have to, in my opinion, I want to get a debate where these people cannot do that. They will be cried foul, and we will have a person who's a person in debate that will say, I'm sorry, mainstream, you are giving us no answers, dissident wins. And it could be that they just don't, what they'll be is, if you see on my film, I don't know how many people saw the kidnapping of, where we kidnapped Stephen Hawking. Have you seen my music video for my film? I think did you see that? Well, anyways, look up, I made a music video, and it was a kidnapping of Hawking. We kidnapped him. It's a beautiful little musical video. It's got a great story. It's got babes and music and dancing. And the whole premise is, I wish I could take these guys, take Hawking's, like some terrorist group, put them against him, put them branches. All right, tell me, this isn't true, is it? This, when mass increase isn't real, special relativity is wrong, right? This is the end of it, like, tell the truth. That was the premise behind it. It was just an artistic premise, right? And what you can do with these debates, I agree, we should do it. But if we set this debate up, and we do this, and they make these arguments that in debate class would get an F, we tell them, and they don't care about it. What does that mean? In the end, what have we proven? So I want to do that, but we need to do it in a controlled manner so that when we get to that point, we can say, this debate club, who doesn't care about physics at all, they gave them an F, and the dissident saying, yeah, well, they have evidence at least, and they're trying to present, do arguments. You know, they've got something. At least, worst case, they're going to show that the mainstream is totally bad and asinine when it comes to debate, which they normally are. We're not getting back from them, well, I took a look at it. Only once in my life I saw that, and it was 1994, when the 9 physicists from Space Park took Karazani's work for 3 weeks and couldn't find a problem with it. And they came back and said that, but they made excuses why they wouldn't do the experiment. But I don't have a problem with that. I just want to make sure that if we set this up, it will be something that will be received and perceived as a win, or at least a good debate. So that we come out like, okay, you know, I can see both sides. But if we do it without a judge, they're going to just come up there and say, well, you know, look, we've done this millions of times. What do you want me to say? Just quote the million things that we tell? No, I want you to address that.
David, can I say something about that? One of my suggestions, or one of the that I made earlier,
Sure.
was that, say at the next conference,
Right.
we have a debate
Right.
on some particular subject.
Sure. I think
We don't need a judge. We need people to be in that debate to give their summaries of their particular positions or theories or concepts, and to take shots at the others.
Right.
And just let it roll.
Well,
you don't need a judge.
No, I agree with you. And when I heard that, I was thinking it was only us. But if we were to put a person from the mainstream in there, that's what I was talking about.
But even if we had someone in the mainstream, let them talk, and then let the others talk. And
Have we
let
ever
them
had an
share each
educator
other.
come to us?
To have a judge there, you're being unrealistic. We're not going to get a judge. And how are you going to get an unbiased judge?
Well, no, I'm not talking about a judge. I'm not.
Their own views.
No, I'm not talking about a judge for science. I'm talking about it just to cry foul in a debate mode. Because if what the problem is one of the problems when I do talk to people in the mainstream and I do get their audience, what it turns out is they are not, it's not the judge of what they're saying, it's their arguments are not even good arguments.
But even then, you don't need someone to take to task because the others in the debate can do it. That's their job.
Well, I know.
So once you get on with it and get something like that organized.
Well,
we can talk about this forever, but we're spinning wheels.
Well, I know, but let me just tell you the perception. I won't say it'll be good for us, but the perception from the outside will be, here's this organization that brought this guy in. So he's going to go back to his university and says, what happened? Well, I got there and they of course all opposed me and supported this guy. Well, you know, what were they using their judgment on? Well, they all think this is right and we think this is right. Whereas if we had somebody says in debate, he says, well, you know, I just kept saying that we have somebody, they're gonna have a harder time if they have a person that's independent that says, well, I wasn't using very good arguments. Next time I'm gonna have to, you know, actually get in there and learn their side.
But we may get criticized, but somewhat, if we put on the debate, and the debate raises criticism, that's so much the better.
Well, the idea, I understand that. I think what we have to make sure is, what is the purpose of the debate? Is the debate going to be good for us, and that's great, or is it really for the public and publicity and marketing?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, Duncan, is I'm thinking that if we do it the way, just with that, without, it's my opinion, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do it, we can do it. I'm just saying that if we do it that way, it's going to be perceived no different than if we, it can almost be damaging. Here's what happened with Margaret Witham, and that's why I was fighting it, is when a person does that, if we were to do that, they're going to go back and say, well, we just showed them, you know, they're just crazy.
So what?
But what has it done for us? What good has it done?
Because if it gets some people interested in watching the debate and we get out some publicity, at least to all our members ahead of time, that there's going to be this great debate on what the cause of gravity or what the cause of light is, or on the particle wave dichotomy, or whatever. We choose a topic that's got some reasonable interest. And you keep on putting stuff out that says, come on and watch this thing. We'll put it on video, or you can come to the conference, and there will be plenty of time for the presentation of other play papers at the conference. Yes, you'll get some criticism, but so what?
Yeah.
Because criticism, to a great extent, is advertising. Nobody's going to come along and say what a fine group we are.
Oh, no,
I get criticism, but damn it, it's better to be criticized and noticed.
Bad notice is better than notice.
That's it. There's a whole lot of truth.
But just a comment is within universities in the UK, at least, I presume it's probably similar in the American academic landscape as well. There are certain drivers to take part in public engagement events, but those kind of institutional drivers, institutional motivations to take part are minuscule in comparison, say, publishing and winning grant funding. Your task isn't just what are you going to get out of it, or what do you want to get out of it, but how are you going to persuade a mainstream scientist that's going to be worth their time coming along, because as you know, you have people say, don't put my name on that, I don't want to be associated with that. People who are sympathetic. So